Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Okay, let us start. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The chapter is titled as The Opulence of the Absolute or Vibhuti Yoga. And Krishna says, of course, he ended the previous chapter with Manmanabha Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru, that verse. And he says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunume paramam vachaha yatte ham priyamanaya vakshami hitakamyaya. He says that, my dear Arjuna, please hear my supreme teachings. Of course, the supreme teachings is about pure devotional service. I'm going to speak to you about it because you are qualified with prema, and also I desire to give you benefit. So please hear about it now. So this indicates the nature of pure devotional service, and also he is going to speak about his vibhutis, which is meant to inspire surrender to Krishna or devotion to Krishna in devotees. So he says that Name viduhu suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayah aham adir hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Unknowability or inconceivability is a very important aspect of the supreme absolute truth. So uh, if someone is very exalted, extraordinary, one of his characteristics is unknowability. So he says that even the greatest of the devatas and the greatest of the rishis cannot know me. Why? Because I am the source of the devatas and the rishis. Just like the son cannot know about the birth of the father because he came from the father, unless the father himself reveals, he himself cannot know. In the same way, the great devatas and the rishis cannot know about the birth of Krishna because they all came from Krishna. Yoma majam anadim cha vetti loka maheshwaram asammudaha samartyeshu sarva papaihi pramuchyate. So he who understands about the transcendental nature of my birth and activities, just very similar to uh, what is that verse in the Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah. Like that, he says, one who understands the transcendental nature of my birth and activities, what is it? Ajam anadim cha. I am unborn and I have no beginning, but at the same time I am also born. One who understands both are real and true, and those who also understand that I am Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, I am the uh, Lord of all the planets. Sarva Papaihi Pramuchyate. He is freed of all the sins and he performs bhakti without any impediments. One who understands the transcendental nature of Krishna's birth and activities. Okay. And then he says, endowed with any kind of material assets, one cannot understand Krishna. That's what he is telling in these two verses. Buddhir jnanam asammoha kshama satyam damashamaha sukam dukkam bhavo abhavo bhayam cha abhayameva cha ahimsa samata tushtihi tapodanam yasho ayashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pritag vidaha. So Krishna says that all the intelligence, knowledge, freedom from illusion, tolerance, which are all very, very useful to um, learn, uh, to gain knowledge in this material world. One needs intelligence, one needs some knowledge, one should be free from illusion, one should have tolerance. Okay, unless one has tolerance, it is not possible to gain knowledge. Uh, one who is very intolerant, they cannot gain proper knowledge. Uh, uh, so, and sense control, those who do not have sense control, mind control, these are all very, very critical for gaining both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, not just material knowledge. Even for spiritual knowledge, these qualities are needed. So, Krishna is not telling that by these qualities are absolutely, he's not telling that these qualities are absolutely useless. He says that all these qualities arise from me only. So, by these qualities, you cannot understand me. Meaning, even if you may possess these qualities, if I don't empower, one cannot understand. Na, nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedaya na bahuna shrutena. Yamaivesha vrunute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanam swam. The Upanishad say. So which means all these qualities arise from me. So merely by these qualities you cannot understand me, even though these qualities are very useful for understanding material knowledge, but not knowledge about Krishna. Okay. So he summarizes this. Even those who are knowledgeable of scriptures cannot know about me by their intelligence. It is possible only by mercy. That is the point. Okay. Maharshaya saptapurve chatvaro manavastata madbhava manasa jata yesham loka ima prajaha. The 7 great sages, the Saptarishis, the 14 Manus, the 4 Kumaras, all of them are Manasa Jata, are my Manasa Putras. They are not Manasa Putras, they are not the Manasa Putras of mm, uh, Krishna, but they are Manasa Putras of Brahmaji, who is actually a Gunavatara of Krishna. So therefore Krishna says, they are my Manasa Putras. So they also came from me. So by default, they cannot say that they can understand me. If I empower them, it may be possible. And to the extent that I empower, they may understand. And I don't empower them just because they are Manus or Saptarishis or anything. I may empower if they are my devotees. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tatvatah. Bhaktyaham ekaya grahyah. Only by bhakti one can understand Krishna. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo vetti tatvatah. So vikalpena yogena yujjate na atra samshayah. Krishna says, he who understands the vibhutis which I am going to narrate very soon, and he who also understands the process of bhakti yoga and accepts this as the topmost process, saha avikalpena yogena yujjate na atra samshayah. Such a person will be fixed in unflinching bhakti. There is no doubt about me. Because knowing about Krishna's vibhutis, knowing about Krishna's power is very critical. Without properly knowing it, one cannot, as sadhakas, we cannot think that, oh, I am trying to follow after the footsteps of the Vrajavasis. The Vrajavasis do not have any Aishwarya Bhav. So I will also not understand about Krishna's opulences and all that. I will directly only hear about his Rasa Leela. That way, I'll be following the footsteps of the gopis. If someone thinks like that, they are in deep delusion. In the beginning, while we are struggling to cope with the, um, you know, with Maya, dealing with Maya, it is very important that we understand about Krishna's, uh, opulences, is especially starting with his material opulences. Hmm. And one who understands this and accepts the process of bhakti as a topmost process, saha avikalpena yogena yujyate. He becomes fixed in unflinching bhakti. Anyavilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Na atra samshayah. And then he starts speaking about the Chatushloki Gita. Okay. So here he speaks of his vibhuti characterized by great power. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tatvatah. So vibhuti is very briefly described in this verse. What is that? What is Krishna's vibhuti? Aham sarvasya prabhavah mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhaha bhava samanvita. Krishna says that aham sarvasya prabhavah. I am the source of everything in this world, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. I am the source of everything. Mattah sarvam pravartati, and everything operates due to me as Paramatma, and also as in the form of various avatars like Narada Muni. Not only do I sustain things of this world as Paramatma, uh, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastam. As Paramatma, I sustain everything, but also in the form of various avatars like Narada and uh, you know the four Kumaras. Through such personalities, I also am responsible for sustaining the various sadhanas like jnana, bhakti, etc. Mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva. Understanding this conclusion very clearly, Buddhaha, that intelligent person who understands this very clearly, bhava samanvita bhajante. He worships me with great love. So, of course, bhava samanvita bhajante should mean for siddhas, bhava samanvita means endowed with prema. And for sadhakas, bhava samanvita bhajante means endowed with a desire to develop that prema. Okay. So, because sadhakas do not have prema yet, so bhava samanvita bhajante cannot mean there. For sadhakas, it cannot mean prema. Okay. So, thus the vibhuti and yoga mentioned in the previous verse has been explained in this verse. So, where is vibhuti indicated? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. That is, uh, that is actually uh, vibhuti. Iti matva bhajante man buddha bhava samanvita. Like that. So, this is where we ended our discussion last week. So before we continue today's discussion, if there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add, you can please go ahead. Mohit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, how can we come from sadhaka stage to bhava stage? Because when we do our japa, our sadhana, so we say that we come 4 steps towards Krishna. Krishna take 10 steps towards us or 20 steps towards us, but it does not look like same in regular sadhana. When we do sadhana, suppose 2 day we do very good sadhana, like our chanting is very good, our book reading is very good, but in the third day with our 100% efforts, we cannot get any taste in chanting, or automatically sadhana disturb. So how we, it does not look like that Krishna is reciprocate in the same manner. So how can we come from sadhana stage to bhava stage?
Yeah, as long as we have the anarthas, anartha nivritti is a gradual stage. And while anarthas are there, even though on the first day we think I have lot of taste, that taste is just, it is not in one sense real taste. That state, that is called as Utsahamayi. Utsahamayi means a sense of false confidence. I think that today I have taste, you know, I will conquer the whole world, you know, like that we may think. But the very next day there is no taste. I don't even feel like picking up my bead bag. I'm feeling very lack of enthusiasm. But that does not mean we are regressing in our practice of devotional service. It is just that we are coming in terms with reality. This is actually reality. What I thought that, oh, one day I have so much taste, it looks like I'm just only 2 inches away from the stage of bhava. We may feel like that. But that stage is called as the stage of false confidence or utsahamayi. But reality is ghanatarala, thick and thin, thick and thin, thick and thin practice. One day enthusiasm, next day no enthusiasm. That is reality. But gradually, whether we have uh, at least as a sense of duty, if we keep on engaging in those activities, irrespective of whether we have taste or not. So if we keep continuing, then gradually we go through, there are few more stages of unsteady devotional service, which is called as Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. Gradually we pass through those stages and gradually only Nishta comes. So Nishta can come only when there is subduing of Rajogun and Tamogun significantly. And that subduing of Rajogun and Tamogun takes a significantly long time. So, and then we reach Nishta, and then comes real Ruchi. Real Ruchi is consistent. That taste does not go away. Uh, That is real taste. This fluctuating taste is not really taste for the limb of devotional service as much. It may be due to, oh, if I do well, maybe someone will appreciate me. Uh, you know, or it could be something like that, or it may be some material element which we are really appreciating rather than deriving genuine taste from the devotional activity itself. So it takes time. Nothing comes very easily. Uh, by diligent application, irrespective of whether we have taste or not. So Nishta comes before Ruchi. So if if 2 days we are able to do, third day I don't have any taste. The 2 days taste is also not real taste actually. Real Ruchi means it comes only after Nishta. And Nishta means absolute steadiness. You know, come what may, one is able to diligently perform one's sadhana. And that Nishta can come only when there is significant subduing of Rajogun and Tamogun. And that significant subduing of Rajogun and Tamogun can come only after, sincere endeavor uh, to practice Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. for a significantly long time. So, progress in bhakti is sometimes, we falsely think that it is very easy. It is easy in comparison to karma, jnana, yoga, etc. But it is not as easy as what we think. It involves diligent application because the anarthas that we have accumulated over millions of lifetimes. So it takes some time. Sometimes it may take decades of sincere application for subduing the anarthas within the heart and come even closer to Nishta. Only after that comes Ruchi, then Asakti, then Bhava and Prema. So it is not so easy.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Right. Okay. Anything else before we move forward? Yes, Shri Vidya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. I have some this one. I mean, very basic question, doubt I have. Prabhuji, this this using this vibhutis of Krishna, like here this what the purport says, like one becomes endowed with bhava to worship me, and so how can one acquire these bhavas by knowing the vibhutis of Krishna, by knowing the opulence of Krishna?
Why? Why not?
See, because bhava develops by more knowing about the sweetness of the Lord, right? So like
Not
when
necessarily. No.
okay.
Bhava can have Aishwarya Yukta Bhava also, Madhurya Yukta Bhava also. So Bhava and Prema are not exclusive property of only Vrajavasis.
Right.
So
That is there.
Vaikuntavasis also have. The Vaikuntavasis also have Bhava and Prema.
Yes, but
So,
but what I am asking is about this Madhurya Ras of Krishna, and like or the Vrajaras of Krishna. So like how can one develop that like just by knowing this vibhutis of Krishna?
he doesn't say that one just by knowing vibhutis of Krishna one can attain Madhurya Rasa. He does not say that. But to begin with, one has to
Know that.
know that. So
Okay.
So unless we know who Krishna is, the first step is to understand his material vibhutis, because what is there in this material world, the material world is only manifest to our eyes. Unless we first understand that this manifest material world is controlled by Krishna, where is the question of even developing faith about a world which we cannot even see with our eyes? Therefore, that vibhuti, accepting Krishna's vibhuti, is material opulence, is material controllership of this manifest material world which we can see with our eyes, is a very beginning stage of actually developing the higher stages of love.
So which means eventually it will lead to development of these specific bhavas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how and it's not that Vrajavasis do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but their familiar kind of love becomes so extraordinary that that knowledge becomes completely subdued and irrelevant. So as devotees, we should definitely understand Krishna's Purushavatara features also, where he controls this, how he controls the material world. That one should have a very clear understanding of how the manifest material world is completely under his control. And then slowly we can understand how there is unmanifest world, the spiritual world, and all that, how he is controlling that also, all of that we can understand.
Okay. And this particular verse, Prabhuji, so Krishna talks about, because Prabhupada's translation says that source of all spiritual and material worlds. So which means Krishna talking about both himself and his expansions also, right? As Purusha Avataras, right?
Yeah.
So which means...
because Krishna is the Amshi.
Okay.
All others are Amshas.
Yes.
So the
Okay.
Amshi can, when he says I, it includes himself as the
Himself.
Amshi and also the Amshas also.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So because why I got this doubt is because very few sampradayas like Gaudiya Sampradaya accept Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, and most of the other even Vaishnava Sampradayas their understanding is that Vishnu is the Amsi and Krishna is one of the incarnations. So that way, for them, their understanding or they're eventually getting that bhava in whatever rasa it is. So how that would be fulfilled without knowing that this Krishna is the supreme personality of God. That's what
Oh, they
is.
don't have to know. They don't have to know.
Hmm.
That detail they don't have to know.
Have to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we have to,
Okay.
that knowledge will lead to development of attraction to Krishna.
Hmm.
Like I was telling in the morning session, I guess, that
Yeah.
um, if you want to, in Mumbai, okay, you stay in Andheri. So if I
Yeah.
want to come
You
till
said.
Andheri, yeah, you remember that
Yeah.
example,
Yes,
right?
Prabhuji. You spoke about
Yeah,
the train, which you don't know, need not know about the destination beyond you,
yeah,
right?
because
That.
yeah, you are
Yeah.
reaching an intermediate
Yeah.
destination. You don't have
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
comes after that.
Yes.
They don't have to
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that time also I had this doubt, Prabhuji, when you were discussing this point, giving this example. See, but anyway, one like Vaikuntha is ultimate, and one reaches there, but without knowing Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, he is, he is the source. He is Amsi that will even after reaching Vaikuntha also. So, will their knowledge be will it not be a partial knowledge? This one even without like accepting Krishna to be the supreme God, but I have my attraction for the Vishnu form, so that is different. But without knowing or without accepting Krishna to be the supreme God, personality of Godhead, and one reaching Vaikuntha, so how that would be?
They don't have to know. It is good enough to reach Vaikuntha. Like for example, I mean, I don't wish to trivialize it by giving any material example here, but they don't have to know. It's not that they don't know Krishna, but they don't know completely about Krishna, and they don't have to know that also, because their uh, aim is to develop a relationship with Lord Narayana, and it
With
is
Narayan.
appropriate. It is
Okay.
appropriate that they
Okay.
know, that they understand and accept Lord Narayana to be the supreme. See, actually,
Okay.
supreme or not supreme is all in one sense little. There is a sense of subjectivity to it also. It is
Mm.
not completely objective. So it
Okay.
depends on how you define great.
Mm.
Hmm?
Yeah.
How you define great. So you may say that, mm, of course, in every sense of the word, Krishna is great, because all the
Mm.
opulence that Lord Narayana possesses, Krishna possesses it to a superlative degree. But the point is, it is subdued in the backdrop of the sweetness.
Mm.
Okay, but because the backdrop of sweetness is not there, Lord Narayana's exhibition of opulence is very vividly uh, clear. So, for
Okay.
someone who appreciates Aishwarya, the form of Lord Narayana is extraordinary, because without that backdrop of Madhurya, that Aishwarya becomes very vividly visible.
Mm.
And for those who appreciate Madhurya, uh, even though Krishna possesses lot of Aishwarya, but his exhibition of Madhurya is very, very attractive. And for them, uh, Krishna is supreme. So it depends
Mm.
on that. How do you define great? You know, how do
Okay.
you define great? You know, it's like,
Mm.
who is great?
Mm. Okay.
Mahatma Gandhi or Mike Tyson? Who is great?
Yeah.
Who is great? I'm asking you. Mahatma Gandhi or Mike Tyson?
In their both of them are great in their own field.
So it depends on how do you define great.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
So
are you asking?
I'm asking you. No. This
Okay.
I'm not asking you. This I'm not
Uh,
asking you. But I'm telling it depends on how do you
hmm.
define great. Different people
Hmm.
define great in different ways.
Different
So
ways.
for a
Yes.
sportsman, Mike Tyson
Hmm.
is great. For
Hmm.
a patriotic Indian, maybe Mahatma Gandhi is great. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
the definition it changes with definition.
Okay.
So they have a different definition of great, and
Hmm.
so according to that definition, Lord Narayana fits that, and
Okay.
Krishna nicely covers the non-essential details that they need not know. Just like the
Hmm.
demigod worshippers who are attracted to demigods, Krishna does not explicitly show to them that the demigods are actually inferior. You know.
Hmm.
Um, So, similarly, for those who wish to worship that form of Lord Narayana in the mode of Aishwarya,
Hmm.
Krishna covers the essential details about himself and all that because that is non-essential for them because they are anyway attracted to that form of where Aishwarya is prominently seen. Even
Hmm.
though from the strictly Siddhantic point of view, if you see, even the 60 qualities exhibited by Lord Narayana is
Hmm.
exhibited to a superlative degree by Krishna.
Hmm.
But that is not seen so explicitly because of the Madhurya, which is very
Madhuri.
prominent. Which is very
Right.
prominent.
Okay.
So that is the point.
Okay. So which means the Sambandha Gyan that is said here, like, so Krishna is asking us to make a Sambandha with the whether with Narayana form or this one, like the Sambandha has to be with Vaikuntha, right? Not with this world, made with the material world. That is a Sambandha. So Sambandha refers anything beyond this material world. That's what we understand, right?
Yeah.
Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very clear. Thank
Yeah. Right. See, just like you have um, you have actually milk, okay, with one spoon of sugar. You have a glass of milk with one spoon of sugar, and you have Coke. Okay. So of the two, those of you who have tasted Coke, I am not recommending that you taste this, but those of you who have tasted Coke before, uh, and a glass of milk with 1 teaspoon of sugar, of the two, which tastes sweeter? Would you like to answer in the chat box? Which tastes sweeter between Coke and a glass of milk with 1 teaspoon of sugar, right? Everyone is telling milk, right? Milk tastes sweeter, right? But do you know that Coke, a glass of Coke has at least 4 to 5 teaspoons of sugar in it? More than that, probably 4 to 5 teaspoons of sugar Coke has. But because the Coke flavor is so bitter, in order to cover that bitterness, you have to add extra sugar. That whatever flavor they add to that Coke is so bitter that they have to add that extra sugar. But milk has only 1 spoon of sugar. Okay. Actually, if you see, so even though Coke has more sugar, but in the backdrop of that bitterness, that sweetness of the sugar gets covered. So similarly, of course, a very bad example to compare Krishna. Uh, but similarly, Krishna has even the opulences exhibited by Narayana, the Aishwarya of Narayana, Krishna exhibits it to a superlative degree. But in the backdrop of the simplicity of Vrindavan and the sweetness of Vrindavan, actually, uh, you know, one cannot see properly that Aishwarya. That is why Aishwarya is so explicitly visible in Narayana, and it is hardly visible in um, in Lord Krishna, like that. So, someone is telling that it has almost 7 to 8 teaspoons of sugar in Coke. Okay, imagine like that. Yes, Keshav Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, I had a doubt, but regarding this discussion also, Prabhuji, from yesterday, this is running in my mind. Like, we are claiming Krishna as supreme, and Sri Parampara is claiming Narayana as supreme. And what is it running in my mind is like, why is that? Like, someone has to be the supreme, and then only we should love him. That is been indirectly been insisted here, Prabhuji. We can love someone I mean, for him itself. I mean, Krishna really wants that love, no, like beyond the greatness, he wants the sweetness. No, that is why he loves all the Golokavasis, I mean, Vrajavasis so much. No, Prabhuji. So
Yeah,
why?
but we have
So
not developed that love yet.
yes, Prabhuji. But why
So
is
we
that?
have to know that he is the supreme.
Yeah, Prabhuji. But why is that we have been? I don't know how to put in words that. So if unless someone is supreme, we cannot love him. It is indirectly been expressed here, no, Prabhuji.
No,
How to understand this, Prabhuji?
no. If you know that someone is so exalted, but still is showing so much love, then that knowledge of his exalted nature enhances that love. This you can see even in your material interactions in this material world.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's what I am confused. But here also, Prabhuji, everyone is trying to prove supreme so that people will love all the actors, politicians. They love to like so many followers, and they want everyone to like them to prove that they want to prove that they are super. They mean they are great. No, Prabhuji. Here also the same quality is existing. Material
But
world.
they are not actually super.
Yeah,
But
Prabhuji.
Krishna is super, but one has to know. Because Krishna is not just an ordinary living entity who loves you. That's okay. But he is the supreme personality of Godhead who is perfectly capable of satisfying everything. So unless we know that, we may like him, but we may not worship him.
Okay.
The Vrajavasis love, we should not even compare ourselves with the Vrajavasis, because the Vrajavasis are Nitya Siddhas, and that is their flavor of love. The backdrop of all of that, there is definitely knowledge of Krishna's supremacy, but that becomes so much covered because of that prema. But we have not developed that prema. So therefore, our backdrop should be very clear, because they have a superstructure of, they have a 1,000-story building of Madhurya above, but that has a solid foundation of Aishwarya below, but it gets completely covered because of that predominance of Madhurya. But for us, we are just now digging the foundation. So we should have a proper understanding of Krishna's supremacy. So only then, when we hear his sweet pastimes, it will create the right kind of impact.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Like that.
Okay, Prabhuji. And the doubt, why I raise the hands, Prabhuji, like you're explaining about the stages of bhakti, and you're explaining about the Anata Nivritti, Nishtha and Ruchi, all those things are explaining, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to know, like what we were discussing is like, 2 days I have some Ruchi and 3 days I don't have that. So that is a context of discussion. But I just want to know, some sadhaka who has been practicing for long years and they have undergone sufficient Anartha Nivritti, and definitely they would have more determined in devotional. So they may be here for 30-40 years worshipping the Lord, and they would have developed some ruchi, Prabhuji. So, but the difference is their ruchi will be consistent. Is that Prabhuji? Is
Yeah.
that so?
Not just that, there are very clear symptoms of the stage of Ruchi mentioned in Madhurya Kadambini and other such literatures.
Oh,
There are very clear symptoms. So
okay.
Ruchi is not just some, even consistent taste
Mm.
does not necessarily mean they are at the stage of Ruchi.
Oh,
That is a very preliminary understanding.
oh.
So beyond that, the influence of Rajogun and Tamogun is absolutely not seen in them. And of course, that is not seen even at the stage of Nishtha. Um, and if you see that they have very strong humility, regret for their past, about their past non-Krishna conscious life,
Mm.
and that ruchi does not depend upon the material elements. You know,
Mm.
they have kirtan for someone is singing the Mahamantra, irrespective of whether it is sung with in a very good tune or without any music, they are attracted. Irrespective, like you see in the case of Jananivas Prabhu or Pankajangri Prabhu, even if someone is giving a Bengali class, which they don't understand, you will see they will go and sit there and hear because their Lord is being glorified. That is
Wonderful,
Ruchi.
Prabhuji.
That is Ruchi.
Oh.
So consistent taste is not necessarily a sufficient condition for Ruchi. There are more symptoms which are mentioned actually.
Prabhuji, if that's so, then we should understand that Anatha Nivritti has to be complete, no, Prabhuji, then?
Not
At least
necessarily.
major.
Yeah, it must be
Then,
significantly complete.
otherwise, Rajo and Tamo Guna will be there, no, Prabhuji. That impressions will be there, no, Prabhuji. That is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So, significant. So, maybe if we know what the Ruchi actually means, then I can understand this. Maybe I will hear that Madhuri Kadamini of yours, Prabhuji. So because why I'm asking is I heard through one of my devotees here that it is not like it is all it all continues. It is not that one process is over, then other process start. It is not like that. Everything will be happening simultaneously. I heard Prabhuji. That is why I'm asking
that
you.
is true. That is true. See, but it is not that before Nishtha there is no steadiness at all. And it is not that before Ruchi there is no taste at all. And it is not that before Asakti there is no attachment to Krishna at all. So, in that sense, yes, there is definitely. That is why these stages are not defined purely based on that, but there are other symptoms also that are mentioned. So, yes, one may have some taste, but do you think that the person has reached the stage of Ruchi? May not be. We are not telling before Ruchi there is no taste at all. No, we are not saying that. But anyone who has a taste, does it mean he has reached the stage of Ruchi? No, that is not true.
Yeah. Now I get it, Prabhuji.
Like
So I can.
I gave you the same example, right? I know something about. Is it that only dentists can know anything about the teeth? Not necessarily. But does it mean anyone who knows something about teeth he can call himself a dentist? No.
Yes,
Like
Prabhuji.
that.
So, yes, Prabhuji. So, identifying ourselves in which stage we are, then it is Anatha Nivritti only. But we may have a glimpse of that Nishtha and Ruchi. That's what you would say, is it, na,
Some
Prabhuji?
we may have. Yes.
Now I got it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mohit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have known, I know many devotees who is attending Mangala Arati from last 10 years. But sometime I hear from them that they are saying sometimes they don't get any, they are not getting any taste in chanting, and they will ask this question from Maharaj when he come here. So why does not Krishna reveal us very easily? Why he takes so much long time after continual of sadhana from 10 years attending Mangala Aarti? मतलब why we don't overcome anarth nivritti very fast? It looks like that someone is pushing us to commit sin. Can
Because we have to show our sincerity properly to Krishna. So when we clearly show our sincerity to Krishna, and if we clearly show that I really want to give it up, then Krishna will take it seriously. So depending on how sincerely we are praying for it, how sincerely we are crying for it, then Krishna will understand how interested we are. Otherwise, you say, "Oh, I want to overcome it," and Krishna takes it away. And if you have not developed taste for bhakti also, and at the same time your taste for material things is also taken away, so you will literally be living a very tasteless, boring life. So Krishna wants to see how sincere you are in your desire to give up your material attachments. To the extent that he sees that sincerity, to that extent he will reciprocate.
but
And
Prabhuji,
when they say they don't have taste, and when we say we don't have taste, it may not necessarily be the same. In a class, you may have a boy who has scored 40 marks, and you ask him, "Hey, how did you do?" Arey, marks both kamaya, both kamaya. And you may have a person who is scoring 90 marks, and you go and ask him, "Arey, kaise aaya marks?" He may also say, "Arey, both kamaya." So, therefore, from their statement, we cannot say that, "Oh, I don't have taste." Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "I don't have any taste." Even Srila Haridas Thakur says, "I don't have any taste for chanting." So, but his standard of that, what is taste, that may be different from our standard. So, even though someone may say, "I don't have," they may be attending Mangalarti for 10 years if they say, "I don't have taste," but what they mean and what we mean, we may say that I have a lot of taste for chanting, and they may say I don't have taste for chanting, but they may have much more taste than what we have, because there is no, like yardstick. We may say, "अरे आज मुझे जपा में बहुत मजा आया," and someone may say, "अरे Prabhuji, I really struggled chanting today." But actually, the person who says I really struggled in my chanting, he might have had a much better quality of chanting than the person who says, I really had a wonderful chanting today. Because their standards may change. When people progress, their standard of good japa and or their understanding of good japa also changes. So we cannot judge them thinking, "Are Prabhuji, he has been attending Mangalarti for 25 years. Still he says, you know what? He does not have taste for chanting. But I don't attend Mangalarti every day. I have great taste for chanting." So, this is, we cannot make any judgment like that.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, there is a comment in the chat box. It may be because Jiva also wants to be the master, the Lord of all things. So when the Jiva in this material world sees, "Oh, here is the Lord who is so great," so might be one will start appreciating and worshipping. Yeah, that's important. Yes. Yeah, what we feel is very internal, and it is between the devotee and Krishna. It cannot be estimated or addressed externally. That is true. Okay. Okay. So let us now move on to the second Chatushloki. In the first Chatushloki, Krishna says, "Aham sarvasya prabhava mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita." So understanding the Vibhuti or Krishna's greatness is very critical. Especially as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we should not fall into this trap that, oh, I am trying to follow in the footsteps of the Vrajavasis. The Vrajavasis don't know anything about Krishna's glories, so I should not invest in hearing all this. Better than hearing Bhagavad Gita, I will hear the 10th canto. One should not think like that. Because that way we might enter into the realm of being Sahajiyas. So whenever we think of the Vrajavasis, we should very clearly understand. Understand this analogy. They have a 1,000-story building with a very deep foundation of Aishwarya. But because it is a 1,000-story building, that foundation of Aishwarya is invisible. Not that it is not there. For us, we have just started digging the first few feet. We should not think, let me start building the superstructure. No. For us, the deep foundation of understanding Krishna's opulence is very critical before we start building the superstructure of Krishna's sweetness. That is very critical. Like that. Anyways, let us continue. So, then Krishna continues here. He says, Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Macchitta, with minds greedy for me. Madgata prana, being completely dependent on me. Madgata prana. Prana means the body is completely dependent on the prana. When the prana leaves, the body leaves. So Madgata prana means being completely dependent on Krishna. Krishna is their prana. Prana mora jugala kishora. Like that. Prana is life. One is dependent completely on prana. Madgata prana means being completely dependent on Krishna. So, Macchitta. Macchitta also means minds greedy for Krishna. So, generally, the mind is greedy for the goal. Mind is always greedy for the goal. And only secondarily the mind is attached to the means to attain that goal. What consumes one's mind naturally is actually the goal. So when Krishna says Macchitta, means their minds are greedy for me. So this means actually Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Okay. Which means for them Krishna is their goal. Because only the goal consumes the mind. Only secondarily the mind gets attracted to the means to attain that goal. So, Macchitta, with minds greedy for me. Madgata prana, being completely dependent upon me, which means dependence, the means to attain that goal. The means to attain that goal is Krishna only. When we say Krishna is the means to attain that goal, it means bhakti. Shuddha bhakti. So, Madgata prana actually indicates Jnana karmadi anavritam. Right. So that is, so Machitta Madgata Prana. Even though it is not explicit, but it is implicit here. Machitta means mind's greedy for me. So mind is greedy for Krishna, which means Krishna is their goal, which means there is no other goal. That is Anyabilashita Shunyam. And Madgata Prana means dependence. We are dependent on sadhana to attain the sadhya. So dependence is only on Krishna means dependence is only on Shuddha Bhakti. Right? And dependence only on Shuddha Bhakti means Jnana Karmadhyanavritam. So that is the meaning of Madgata Prana. Madchitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam. Mutually hearing about me. Katayantascha Mam, and singing about me. Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They continuously experience satisfaction and enjoyment. They get satisfaction and enjoyment only in discussing about Krishna. Bodhayantah Parasparam means if they have someone to hear, they will speak. If they have someone to speak, they will hear. If there is no second person, Katayantascha, they will spontaneously sing about Krishna. And Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They constantly feel great joy and satisfaction in engaging in these activities. So that is the meaning. Bodhayanta Parasparam. You want to speak? I will hear. You want to hear? I will speak. Oh, there is no one else? I will sing. And one takes great joy, continuous joy and satisfaction in engaging in this Bodhayanta Parasparam and Katayantascha Mam. This is a devotee, his activities. Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam, Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Okay. So, Bodhayanta Parasparam is actually, you can say, in one sense, it indicates Krishnanushilanam. Okay. Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam. Mam is Krishna. Katayanta, Bodhayanta indicates the activities of devotional service. Anushilanam. Nityam is Anu. Nityam is Anu. Machitta is Anyabilashita Shunyam. Madgata Prana is Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. They are actually happy and satisfied discussing about Krishna. This indicates Anukulyena, a very favorable attitude towards Krishna. And Nityam indicates Anu of Anushilana. And Katayantascha, Bodhayantascha Parasparam indicates Shilanam. And Mam indicates Krishna. In this way, if you see Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha indicates Anyabilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam, Bhaktir Uttama. Like that. So this is actually talking about Uttama Bhakti. So he says, such Ananya Bhaktas who have attained spiritual intelligence, Buddhi Yoga, by my mercy, attain factual knowledge of me mentioned previously, which is hard to understand. So such Ananya Bhaktas who have attained spiritual intelligence, Buddhi Yoga, by my mercy, attain factual knowledge of me mentioned previously, which is hard to understand. Their minds are greedy for my form, name, qualities, pastimes, and taste of sweetness. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Their minds is not greedy for Swarga, Moksha, Siddhi, etc. No. They are unable to maintain their lives without me. Madgata Pranaha. Just as men are completely dedicated to food, Annagata Prana Nara, since they depend on it to live. In order to maintain themselves, they have to eat food. So, in order to maintain their prana. So this is actually Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Okay. So, Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam means dependence. There is no additional dependence on Karma, Jnana, Yoga, etc. There is dependence only on Krishna. Only dependence on Krishna means there is only dependence on Bhakti. That's what it means. Shuddha Bhakti. They explain to each other with friendliness about the types of Bhakti and the real nature of Bhakti. Bodhayantaha. You wish to speak, I will hear from you. You have some points to share, I will hear from you. Oh, you are willing to hear, I will speak to you. So, they talk about me, a great ocean of very sweet form, qualities, and pastimes, Katayantaha, and glorify me by narrating about my form, qualities, and pastimes. Since Smarana, Machittaha, and Shravana, Bodhayantaha, and Kirtan, Katayantaha, are the best amongst all types of bhakti, they have been specifically mentioned here. So, Machittaha, Machittaha means Smarana, Bodhayanta means Shravana, and Katayantaha means Kirtana. Since they are the best amongst all types of bhakti, they have been specifically mentioned here. Okay. Thus, by this bhakti alone, these devotees are satisfied and experience happiness. By this bhakti alone, again refers to Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Okay. This is the mysterious aspect of bhakti. There is a footnote by His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj here. He says, materialists cannot understand how devotees can enjoy without dependence on external material stimulation. Whereas for what to speak of materialists, even the karma yogis, jnana yogis, they cannot understand. It is difficult. So, then, or the meaning of satisfaction and enjoyment can be as follows. They are satisfied even at the stage of sadhana by continual performance of their worship brought about by good fortune. And they take pleasure in thinking of their future attainment of prema and enjoy with their Lord through the mind. This interpretation indicates Raganuga Bhakti. Okay. So, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. What is the meaning of Tushyanti means satisfied, Ramanti means enjoying. So this also indicates the stage of sadhana, not just the sadhya stage. He says that how does it indicate sadhana? He says by continuous performance of their worship. Krishna Anushilanam, brought about by good fortune, continual performance of their worship is Krishna Anushilanam. brought about by good fortune. The good fortune is due to the association of Vaishnavas. Okay. And they are satisfied. Tushyanti. Okay. They are satisfied even at the stage of sadhana by continual performance of their worship brought about by good fortune. So the satisfaction means they are not craving for the support of karma, jnana, or yoga. They are just satisfied by practice of bhakti, nothing else. Okay. And they take pleasure in thinking of their future attainment of prema. Oh, if I keep practicing like this, in future I will attain prema. Okay. This again means no other goal. This is the meaning of Ramanti. And they enjoy with their Lord through the mind. This interpretation indicates Raganuga Bhakti. Like that. So that is Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Like that. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share as add before we move forward? Okay, there is a question here in the chat box. Anukulyena is compared to what? Anukulyena means their by chanting and hearing about Krishna, they are feeling happy. It's not that, oh, what to do? I have to hear, I have to chant. Not like that. They're feeling happy to do it, which means they have a favorable attitude towards Krishna. That is why they are happy. So that Tushyanticha Ramanticha indicates Anukulyena. Like that. Okay. Are Buddhi Yoga and Jnana Yoga same? No. Dadami Buddhi Yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. When Krishna says, I give the intelligence. The word Buddhi Yoga is used in many different ways. Buddhi Yoga mentioned in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In some verses it refers to Nishkama Karma Yoga, and in other cases it refers to Bhakti Yoga. Like that. So, okay. Next question. Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam means here Shuddha Bhakti only nourishes gross body. I don't understand the question. Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam means one's practice of Bhakti. In practicing Bhakti, they take shelter of only the Navada Bhakti, the 9 limbs. They don't try to mix it with the limbs of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. That is the meaning of Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam. Like that. Okay. If there are no further questions, comments, or discussion, okay. Sri Vidya Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I have a small doubt here, Prabhuji, in the purport. Of course, you just now explained about the Buddhi Yoga. Like for those who have attained that spiritual knowledge, I give them this one to attain factual knowledge. Something was like that, yeah, right? Yeah, the previous one. Yeah, who have attained spiritual intelligence, by my mercy, attain factual knowledge of me, mentioned previously. So that I'm not able.
Okay, good. Okay. First thing, see how the statement starts. Such Ananya Bhaktas, which means he's talking about pure devotees, who have attained spiritual intelligence, means pure devotional faith. Okay. By my mercy, which comes through the devotees. Such Ananya Bhaktas who have attained spiritual intelligence by my mercy, which means mercy, my mercy attained through the agency of my devotees, those who have developed that pure devotional faith, they eventually attain factual knowledge of me. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. By that knowledge of bhakti, by bhakti, one can attain knowledge of Krishna,
Hmm.
which is very hard to understand without bhakti. That's what he's telling here.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So the Ananya Bhaktas over time. So here that by mercy comes to the devotees. That's what you are
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. I mean, really very thankful, Prabhuji. Such a nice explanation of the verse. I'm first time hearing. So this got the new meaning of Matgata Prana. All these days we never thought about it, even though this verse is very famous. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for making us understand this point. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Okay. If there are no further discussion points, comments, or questions, we will move on to the third Chatushloki, where Krishna is going to discuss about his own reciprocation with such devotees who are Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam, Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So, how does Krishna reciprocate with such persons? Krishna says, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. Dadami Buddhi Yogam. I appear within the heart. Here, Buddhi refers to the heart because Buddhi is situated in the region of heart. Yogam means union or appearance. Dadami Buddhi Yogam means I appear within the heart. Of whom? Tesham, those personalities, Satata Yuktanam, who constantly desire to be with me, which was mentioned in the previous verse as Madgata Prana, Machitta. Their minds are greedy for me. Greedy for me means what? Greedy for establishing a relationship with me. That is Machitta. So therefore, Tesham Satata Yuktanam mentioned here, Satata Yuktanam is the same as Machitta. So Tesham means those. So those means whom? It must have been mentioned in the somewhere previously. So it is mentioned in the previous verse. Machitta. So Satata Yuktanam means Machitta. They constantly desire to be with me. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam is indicated. Bhajatam is indicated by Bodhayanta Parasparam. Katayantaha. This is Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. is indicated here. Bhajatam. Priti Purvakam is indicated by Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Yeah. So, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam means Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Tesham. Those persons Dadami Buddhi Yogam. If they engage in this way, I appear within their heart. Yena. By this appearance within their heart, Mam Upayanti Te. They Mam Upayanti, attain my direct association. First I appear in their heart and then I appear in front of them to establish a relationship with them. That is the meaning. Tesham Satata Yuktanam. Satata Yuktanam is, as we saw, Machitta. They constantly desire to be with me. Bhajatam. Bodhayanta Parasparam. Katayantaha Samam. Priti Purvakam. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. To those people, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. I appear within their heart, and by that appearance within their heart, Mam Upayanti te. They attain my direct association. Right? So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti mentions here, it is understood that the joy of the devotee described in the previous verse is spiritual bliss beyond the modes. Where is the joy mentioned in the previous verse? Tushyanti Ramanti. Ramanti means joy. It is understood that the joy of the devotee described in the previous verse is spiritual bliss beyond the modes. But by which method do the devotees gain direct contact with you? What method to gain direct contact? Who gives them the method of realizing you? Who gives method to realize Krishna? Anticipating such a question, the Lord speaks this verse. Okay, I feel joyful in my heart, that is okay. But what about relationship with you? How do I develop direct contact with you? He says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam. So the means is Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, which was mentioned in the previous verse. Asmachitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Paraspara Katayantaschamam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. By that process, you gain direct contact. By that process, I appear within the heart. Dadami Buddhi Yogam. And by that process of appearing within the heart, Mam Upayantite, one develops a direct contact with Krishna. So ultimately, the means of attaining a direct contact with Krishna is Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. That is the process which was mentioned in the previous verse. Okay. Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam. I give Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti to those who are constantly desirous of association with me. Satata Yuktanam. This means that the Lord alone causes Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. I alone appear within the functions of their minds. This Buddhi Yoga cannot be obtained at all from any other source, and it does not appear on its own. It has to come by my mercy through the agency of my devotees only. Okay, it cannot come on its own. The statements mean that realization of me is given only by me and received only by the devotee. One who is not a devotee does not get realization of me. Even one who is a devotee attains realization of me only by me. By this bhakti, they attain me, they attain direct association with me. That is upayanti, yenamam upayanti. They upa means close, yanti means they come. Upayanti, they come close to me. They come close to me means they establish a direct relationship with me. That is the meaning of this verse. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayanti te. Actually, you know what? I made a mistake here. Instead of Tesham Evanukampartam, I have put Tesham Satata Yuktanam here. Okay, just give me 1 second. I will make this correction. Just give me 1 second. I will just correct it. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry for the delay. Okay, there are some questions in the chat box. Okay, any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add about whatever we have discussed till now? There's something in the chat box. Let's take it first. So 10.8 establishes Sambandha, 10.9 Abhideya, 10.10 Prayojan. Yeah, 10.8 is yes, in one sense, Sambandha Gyan. 10.9 is Abhideya, and 10.10 is yes, Prayojana. Correct. Critics only. It's like that only. What? 10.10 is Testament. I don't understand what is.
Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji, typo error. It's correct only, Prabhuji. Like, it's correct only. You said you are changed. It's correct only going now, Prabhuji.
No. The 10.11 versus Tesham Evanu Kampartam, but it's
Hmm.
again Tesham Satata Yuktanam was there, so I had to cut this.
Oh, that only. I sorry, it was a typo error, Prabhuji. That's it. Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Rupa Rani Revati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Prabhu, here the Buddhi Yogam refers to the Bhakti, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Because often I heard like Buddhi Yogam, they say it is of the intelligence. Lord is giving the intelligence to perform
That
the
is-
Bhakti.
Yes,
Prabhu.
that is one understanding. But
Okay.
there, the intelligence means devotional intelligence.
Okay, Prabhu, related to Bhakti.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
he says,
Prabhu, yes, Prabhu.
because he says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam tam yena mam upayantite. I give that intelligence by which one can attain me. The intelligence by which
Yes,
one can
Prabhu.
attain Krishna is devotional intelligence only.
Yes, Prabhuji. So Buddhi Yogam. So often in Bhagavad Gita also it is given Buddhi Yogam or Bhakti Yogam, right? It's sometimes Prabhupada is in the purport it is given, no Prabhu.
Yeah.
So it refers to the intelligence based on the devotional service. It's like devotional service. Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu, and you said Buddhi is in the heart, Prabhu, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
And where is the mind, Prabhu?
Heart.
Same, everything is in the heart only. So that
Mind,
is why we say,
intelligence, false ego, and chitta. There are 4 antakaranas which are situated in the region of heart.
okay, Prabhu. Chitta is consciousness, Prabhu.
Awareness.
Awareness. Okay, so that is why we always say in Tamil Manasu, we say the mind, based on that probably, Prabhu. Normally we say Manasachi. Is that something related to that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, whether there is an exact mapping, I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Right. Okay. Yes, Shri Vidya Mataji.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji, for bothering you. So, I mean, this Preeti Purvakam, Prabhuji. So I just want little more this one about it. See, because so this Satata Yuktanam, we do try, right from morning chanting to this one. But that Preeti Purvakam is definitely not there. So, but still Krishna says, I give you the intelligence by which you can come to me. So how do we know that, Prabhuji? So like, is it like ye tamam prapatyante stam tateva bhajami, that way, Prabhuji? So the more love you show towards Krishna, the more he is going to reveal you the truth. That is what
Yes,
is it?
that is also there. And
Okay.
also, Preeti Purvakam should be taken to mean Anukulyena for sadhakas. And Preeti Purvakam should be taken to mean with prema for the siddhas. So, for sadhakas, Preeti Purvakam means with a favorable attitude. Favorable attitude means what? Understanding Krishna is the only object of worship. We may not have spontaneous love for Krishna. We may not have spontaneous attraction for Krishna, but we may have enough faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he should be worshipped. That is called as Anukulyena. So for sadhakas, Priti Purvakam means Anukulyena, a favorable
Okay.
attitude. That's all. It does not mean
Okay.
great love. The great love
Okay.
applies for the Siddhas.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. There is some question in the chat box. Let's take. Like the Chatushloki Bhagavatam is the integrated message of Bhagavatam given to Brahmaji, who then expanded the message further. Similarly, what is the significance of the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita? Is this also an integrated form of the Gita? Well, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, I don't know who calls it Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Oftentimes I hear, but here I don't think Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning, but probably some acharyas do explain, call it Chatushloki Gita. But anyways, it is definitely speaking about Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan, which is the essential conclusion of all the Vedic literatures. So, and also because this is the conclusive highest teaching of Bhagavad Gita in terms of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana is mentioned here. So probably that is the reason why it is called Chatushloki by some acharyas. Like that. Any reason why the seed verses are a part of the 10th chapter along with the description of the Vibhuti instead of other chapters where Bhakti is elaborated or glorified in depth, like in the 9th chapter or 12th chapter? The purpose of description of Vibhuti is to strengthen devotion only. The purpose of the description of Vibhutis here in this 10th chapter is to strengthen the devotion of the devotees. That is the purpose. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo vetti tatvatah so vikalpena yogena yujyate na atra samshayah. That is the purpose of Vibhuti is mentioned here. This is not some dry knowledge. So this is for developing our attraction towards Krishna. Understanding is greatness. So like that. So yeah, so therefore it's very appropriate that it is there. Otherwise, 10th chapter may look like very dry. Maybe this chapter is meant for the Gyanis. No. This chapter is not meant for the Gyanis. This chapter is very much meant for the devotees. Like that. Okay. Yes, Shri Vidya Madhu.
Sorry, Prabhuji. See, forgot to one wanted to ask you about this appear within the heart. That's it. So appear within the heart is so. How do we understand the Bhagavan form appear because the Paramatma is there already in the heart. So the Bhagavan feature also appears in the heart to give us that intelligence. So how do we understand that?
Yeah, for devotees it is Bhagavan only.
Okay.
Pravishta
So
Karna Rantrena Swanam Bhavasaroravam Dunati Shamalam Krishna Salilasya Yatashara. Like that. Through the ear holes, because they are engaged in Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam. Therefore, through their ear holes, Krishna enters their heart as Bhagavan and cleanses their heart and manifests there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So this was the 10th verse. So now let us move on to the 11th verse. Someone may say, till now, this person whom you are talking about, you will enter into their heart and give him the knowledge by which he can attain me and all that. But this person is a very conditioned person. He has lot of anarthas within his heart. So how is it that you will enter his heart and allow him to establish a relationship with you with all this lust, anger, envy, greed, illusion, pride, everything. This question arises. So Krishna says, Tesham eva. Tesham eva means, Tesham refers to the previous verse. Satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those people only. Anukampartam. Anukampa. Compassion. Benevolence. To show favor to them. Artham, for the purpose of. Tesham eva anukampa artham. Only to show mercy towards them. Tesham eva anukampartam. Aham, I, Krishna, Atma bhavasto, Atma bhavastha, by myself, situated in their mental functions, Nashayami, I extinguish, Agyanajam tamaha, the darkness born of ignorance, Bhasvata jnana deepena, with the shining lamp of knowledge. What about all that ignorance? Krishna says, I will take care. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. As Krishna says, the previous chapter he mentioned, Tesham eva anukampartam, to show favor to these people. Tesham eva refers to, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Them are Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayanta Shamam Nityam Tushyanti Charamanti Cha. Those who take great pleasure in discussing Krishna Katha, Tesham, to them, Eva, to them only, Anukampartam, with a great desire to show favor to them, Aham, I by myself, Atma Bhavasto, being situated in their mental functions, because Machitta, they are thinking of me, Madgata Prana, they are dependent on me. Nashayami, I extinguish. Agyanajam tamaha, the darkness born of ignorance. Bhasvata jnana deepena, with the shining lamp of knowledge. I extinguish the darkness born of ignorance. Okay. So, he says, without the functioning of knowledge and other such elements, how can they attain you and how can they even strive for that goal? Without the functioning of knowledge and other such elements, buddhir, jnanam, asammohaha, and all those things it was mentioned, right? These are all, these are needed for assimilating knowledge. So without those elements of knowledge, how can they attain you and how can they even strive for that goal? Krishna says, all this is not necessary. All this is not at all necessary. Having the intention of giving them mercy by all means, even without them having to worry about attaining my mercy, since I myself make the endeavor to give them mercy. Tesham eva anukampartam. They are endeavoring just to engage in Krishna Katha. So, they are engaged in endeavors to please me, but they are not endeavoring to get my mercy. I endeavor to give them mercy. Even if they may not endeavor to get my mercy, I endeavor to give them mercy. I, being situated within the functioning of their intellects, Atma Bhavastaha, by the lamp of knowledge. What knowledge? Knowledge arising from bhakti, which is beyond the gunas. Jnanam chayad ahaitukam. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. Okay. By the lamp of knowledge, knowledge arising from bhakti, which is beyond the gunas, not sattvic knowledge since bhakti alone can reveal me, destroy the darkness born of ignorance in them alone and not in the persons such as the yogis. I take personal responsibility of destroying the ignorance of the devotees only, not the jnanis or yogis or karmis. That is not my job. I don't directly do it. Okay. I alone do this all on my own. Why should they strive for this purpose? I have already said that I carry the responsibility of their spiritual and material welfare. Yoga kshemam vahami aham. I accept responsibility to supply all their material and spiritual requirements. It is my responsibility. I do it. Okay. These famous 4 verses which have been narrated are the essence of all topics in the Gita, removing the misery and producing complete joy for the jivas. Okay. So whatever shortcomings may be there, to attain in the form of anarthas and everything, Krishna says, I will take care. It is my responsibility. You just keep engaging in Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Just enjoy. Just be satisfied in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Rest is all my responsibility. This is what Krishna says. Like that. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add? Yes, Keshav Prem.
Prabhuji, this shloka is clearly explaining, no, Prabhuji, that Ani Abhlashda Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhyana Vriddham Anukul. If you do that, then removal of all your anarthas and everything, I will take care. Means purely, sometimes devotees also telling you to do this, do that. So, but this shloka very clearly
That means
says,
what?
no, Prabhuji, we should include the limb of karma, or till you get purified, we should include like that. We have something is going on now, Prabhuji. So, but this shloka is clearly telling only I am going to remove your ignorance. So, just do pure bhakti without depending on anything, and I will take care of everything.
Yeah.
It's like that, no, Prabhuji. It's like I felt bhakti itself is purifying. We say by words, Prabhuji, but here Krishna is clearly assuring, don't worry, I will remove your ignorance and I will take care personally. Like that, it is giving, no, Prabhuji. So I feel it is very inspiring, this 10.11.
Yes. Correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Anything else before we move forward? Yes, Shri Vidyaman.
Once again, sorry for the Prabhuji if I'm bothering you. So Prabhuji, like this one, Prabhuji, like so when Krishna says on my own, so you don't take care. So which means how do we understand this? Because later Krishna talks about in the 13th chapter, the 18 knowledge, right? Manitvam, Adambitvam, all this, and then there is the Trinada Pisunichena. So one has to endeavor to to develop these qualities, right? So we on our own has to endeavor to develop these qualities. So when Krishna says here, you just the Bodhayanta Parasparam. So like, do we understand that Krishna, he comes inside and he gives us that intelligence to develop that these attitudes also? How do we understand that?
Well, we do endeavor to develop qualities. How? That endeavor is Machitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So we cannot develop qualities. Qualities develop when the good qualities develop when the unfavorable modes get subdued. Otherwise, You cannot become humble just by desiring to become humble. We can only act humbly,
Mm.
because understanding that if I don't act humbly, the other person will get offended. If the devotee gets offended, it will affect my devotional service. Or if I act humbly, my spiritual master will be pleased. Okay. If I act
Mm.
humbly, the Vaishnavas will be pleased. So we can try to act humbly. Okay. But
Mm.
that does not mean we have developed the quality of humility. That
Mm.
comes when there is significant reduction of Rajogun and Tamogun, and when Sattva becomes prominent, then those qualities naturally manifest. So
Mm.
you said about Amanitvam, Adambitvam, right?
Mm.
Let us
Mm.
see what the Acharyas write about
Yeah.
this particular verse, uh, so that we get a proper clarity of what exactly. Yes, it is there in Bhagavad Gita, but what is it that the Acharyas want us to learn from this whole Amanitvam, Adambitvam? How is it relevant for devotees? We are going to see
Mm.
that. Okay. So this is 13th chapter, 8 to 12, I guess.
18, yeah, 18 to 20, I think.
No. 8 to 12. 13th
8 to
chapter,
20.
8 to 12.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to zoom it for you and share the screen. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. This is the verse. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rarjavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atma Vinigraha, Indriyarteshu Vairagyam, Anahankara Evacha, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, Asaktir Anabhiswangah, Putradara Grihadishu, Nityam cha Samachittatvam, Ishta Anishta Upapattishu, Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharini, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, Aratir Jana Samshadi, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam, Etad Jnanam iti Proktam, Ajnanam Vyad Atonyata. Srila Prabhupada writes, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, etc. He says that all these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Okay. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti translates this as freedom from pride, lack of ostentation, non-violence, etc. He says all of these are declared to be knowledge, whatever is otherwise is ignorance. Same thing. Similarly, Baldev Devotion also. If you see the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, I will read only the essential lines here. He says, of all the descriptions of the process of knowledge, the most important point is described in the first line of the 11th verse. Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharini. The process of knowledge terminates in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. So if one does not approach or is not able to approach the transcendental service of the Lord, then the other 19 items are of no particular value. But if one takes to devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, the other 19 items automatically develop within him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatya Kinchana Sarvair Gunes Tatra Samasate Suraha. All the good qualities of knowledge develop in one who has attained the stage of devotional service. This is Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Let's read what the other acharyas say about this. Okay. Let us see what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions. He says, I am just marking the relevant this thing. Okay. Okay. So, do you see? I have highlighted that portion.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
I am reading that. The 20 factors to be used for gaining that knowledge are mentioned in 5 verses. Of these, 18 are common to both devotees and the jnanis. However, the devotees zealously means enthusiastically engage in the one element mentioned in the 11th verse. Mayi cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini, which means engaged in ananya bhakti towards the
Right.
Supreme Lord. The
Mm.
other 17 items manifest automatically for those who engage in that one item. The bhaktas do not devote effort to the 17 items individually. This is the tradition.
Mm.
This is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay, let's see what Srila Baldev Bhushan mentions. Okay, he is describing all these meaning of all these things. Okay, then okay, he does not elaborate much on that, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada have elaborated on this.
Mm.
Okay, so like that. So what we do is we do not we have a definite desire to develop qualities which are good qualities. Why? Because these qualities are they can please Krishna.
Mm.
Okay, that is our goal. So,
Okay.
but what is the means of developing those qualities?
Ananya Bhakti.
Ananya Bhakti. But does it mean till I develop those qualities, like for example, Prabhuji, I have not developed humility. Okay,
Mm.
so why should I act humbly? I feel very arrogant inside. I will act arrogantly only. Na?
Mm.
No, that's not what it means. It means anukulyasya sankalpo pratikulyasya varjana.
Mm.
So humble behavior is anukul for bhakti. Arrogant behavior is pratikul for bhakti. So I accept humble behavior and give up arrogant behavior. But just because I am behaving humbly does not mean I have developed humility as a virtue within my heart.
Mm.
That comes very slowly.
Okay.
So, as the principle of anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam, I act humbly. Like for example, if my servant is irritating me, I will shout at him. But in the office, if my boss is irritating me, I will not shout at him. Not that internally I am not feeling anger. I may be feeling great anger, but I will not shout. Why? Because I know if I shout back, my job will be gone.
Yeah.
So that does not mean I have become very tolerant and humble. It just means that I know what is the cost of my anger. It is just a cost benefit analysis that that I am doing. Okay. Similarly, in bhakti also, we don't we know that we don't try to individually develop these qualities. We only endeavor to practice bhakti. The qualities will automatically come. But that does not mean that we wait till the qualities come to act appropriately. So we try to act appropriately, understanding how the importance of saving our devotion. So we act like that out of a simple cost benefit analysis. If I shout at Vaishnavas, it will be offenses, and if I commit offenses, all my devotional credits will go away. So with that understanding, I act humbly, I act submissively, I act tolerantly, but by doing that, I understand that it will, if I diligently practice bhakti gradually over a period of time, internally also I will develop these qualities one day. That is our understanding.
Yeah. It is said, right? Fake it till you make it. That.
Yeah, fake it means it is not exactly, so that should be understood properly.
Yeah.
Fake it
Yeah.
means,
Not literally.
yeah, it is not
Yeah.
literally fake.
Yeah.
You are not faking it to cheat anyone. Here, faking means even though you may internally not feel, but externally you are doing it because you value devotional service. You value your devotion. That is the point. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
not cheating. Oftentimes people say, Prabhuji,
Mm,
internally you are feeling something, but externally you are
mm,
doing something else. Is this not
mm,
cheating? The answer is no.
mm,
The answer is no. You are not
mm,
trying to cheat anyone.
mm,
So you are just trying to act with discrimination. Okay. Your
yeah.
swabhava, your conditioning is telling, yell at that person, slap that
Mm,
person. But your
mm,
devotional intelligence is telling, no, act humbly, because that
mm,
is what is favorable for your devotional service. So if I
mm,
choose my devotional discrimination, if I respond to my devotional discrimination and not respond to my conditioned swabhava, that is not cheating.
mm, mm,
But if I act humbly just so that I want to get something done from that person, that is cheating. But if I
yeah.
act humbly, even though internally I feel like slapping that person, but I act very humbly and tolerantly because I want to protect my bhakti,
Mm,
that is not cheating. That is actually choosing to act with discrimination as against just flowing with our conditioned swabhava.
mm. Yeah.
Like that.
Very, very nicely explained, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Very great, deep insight. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare. Mother Gail.
Yes, I ditto what Mataji just said. Very wonderfully presented explanation. I still just need a little bit of clarification, because it seems that although we cannot maybe pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and develop humility by our by our actions, because it's our devotional service that will make that happen naturally. So
Yeah.
therefore, by behaving in a humble way, even though we may not have that quality, like really, by behaving in a humble way, what we're really doing is, as you said, just protecting our bhakti.
Yeah.
It's not that we're like cultivating humility by
Yeah.
acting humble. It's only like from the negative aspect, trying not to lose our devotion.
Yeah. By that, I am communicating to Krishna that, Krishna, I value my devotion,
Mhm.
and I'm aware that acting inappropriately will be displeasing to you. Um, Therefore, I am acting in this way for your pleasure. But otherwise, if you are not in the picture, I would have bashed this fellow. But because I don't want to displease you, and I am showing that I value the devotion. So
Uh-huh.
that's what we're trying to communicate. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And all those are the qualities in verse, what is it, 13:9, 13:8, what is it? That
Yeah, 13.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
13.8.
those 20 qualities, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, in principle, this applies kind of like to all of them,
Yeah.
not just humility, right?
Yeah. So
That
all of them. Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting that we shouldn't think that we can, by practicing, doing exhibiting these qualities are kind of artificially, that can, by that effort, we can actually one day own those qualities. It is only by devotional service.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And acting humbly for the pleasure of Krishna is also devotional service.
Yes, true,
Yeah.
true. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Right. Ramacharya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I want to ask something along the same line, Prabhu. Very profound explanation. Make versus fake. I had a lot of confusion on that one, so appreciate Prabhuji. So the thing that I want to understand, the very first emotion that we get to to ail on somebody or to scold on somebody, and then we suppress that. And I have saved myself so many times by doing that. But the question that I would like to understand is it really bad on our side that sometimes we feel like yelling at somebody? It's just we are not there, or at some
It is
point
natural.
that
It is natural.
sounds natural.
Because it's natural. Why? Because we have lived in this material world since time immemorial. It is natural for our conditioned nature to feel that way. It is not the nature of the soul, but it's a nature of our acquired identity which we have acquired because of living in this material world since time immemorial. In that sense, it is natural. For a conditioned soul, it is natural. You don't have to be too harsh on yourself. You shouldn't be proud of that either, but you don't have to be too harsh on yourself. It's nature, because we have lived in this world for since time immemorial, identifying with our body, identifying with the false identities that we have created for ourselves. It's natural for a conditioned soul.
So that
So we
means
don't
for
have to be.
Utmadhikari.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Prabhu. Sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
please continue.
I'm done.
So at some point, if one is advanced in their consciousness and is Utmadhikari, then that ale will turn into love, or still there is ailing and scolding type of things that will come
He
as
will
first
not
emotion.
feel like yelling only.
Oh.
Or he may yell at that person out of compassion. Why you are wasting your life without dedicating it for Krishna? That will be the cause of love. Not that why you have scratched my false ego. No, not that kind of yelling.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shiva Kumar.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and our prompts. Prabhu, just one follow-up question to this discussion, Prabhu. I'm just trying to connect to the point that you talked about in the other 4 lectures, Prabhu, whether sadhana bhakti is pure bhakti. There you are talking about the free will, giving the definition of going against our conditioning is when we actually really exercising our free will. So just connecting to that point, Prabhu, to this discussion today, our endeavors versus Krishna's mercy, the one thing that the boundary is our free will, right, Prabhu, which is in between us and Krishna. So is that a right understanding to say that as far as I exercise my free will to fight against my anarthas, then it sounds like from today's discussion, it's all Krishna's mercy that has to bestow on me to attain him, is something that I wanted to understand, Prabhu.
Can you repeat your last line? I'm not able to exactly. I heard you, but I'm not able to understand you.
So I think the Mataji's question, if I understand rightly, she was asking if everything is Krishna's mercy in referring to that slokam of Dadami Buddhiyoham Tam. She was, I think, trying to ask what is the scope of our endeavors. So, and then the discussion continued. So what I understood.
Think the question was, should we? I don't know which Mataji you're talking about. The
Srividya Mataji.
So she said, do we have to specially endeavor to develop those qualities? That was the question.
Correct, Prabhu. Maybe I'm wrong, but I understood it as what is the scope of our endeavors in attaining Krishna? In that context, I thought she asked that question.
Okay, but forget about her question. You can ask your question.
Yeah, Prabhu. So if I exercise my free will in fighting against my anarthas and cleanse my mind, is that all my scope? Is that where my endeavor ends, and then it's Krishna who has to take over from there? Is what I want to understand, Prabhu.
Yeah. So by that, I am telling Krishna that Krishna, I am interested in cleansing my heart. That's what we are communicating. Oftentimes I quote this example because it's so this example is very dear to my heart, and it very beautifully communicates our philosophy in such a profound way. So, this is from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's biography, The Journey Home. In that, when Maharaj is staying in Barsana with one of the Vrajavasi, sadhus, and one night Maharaj is seeing, they sleep outside, and one of the nights he sees that sadhu is sleeping with a stick right next to him. And Maharaj is quite surprised because he had never seen him sleep with a stick next to him. So Maharaj asked that sadhu, why you are having this stick next to him? He told, you know what? I heard that in the hills of Barsana, they have spotted a tiger roaming around. So just for safety, I have kept this stick. Maharaj asked him, do you think you can save yourself from a tiger using a stick? And he said, no, I cannot. But this stick is just to communicate to Srimati Radharani that my dear Radharani, I wish to protect this body for your service. So this stick is to communicate to her that I wish to protect this body for your service. Rest she only has to take care. What can I fight with a tiger with the stick? So when we endeavor to curb our curb our conditionings by trying to act according to the pure devotional faith that we have developed. That is just communicating to Krishna that Krishna, this is an anartha, and if I act according to this lust, anger, envy, greed, illusion, pride, this will be displeasing to you. I don't want to do it. But if it is within, if you so desire, you may please remove this anartha from my heart. So this is what we are communicating to Krishna by trying to exercise our free will in the right way. But ultimately, it is Krishna's mercy.
Okay. So, Prabhu, so what I understand, even for our own anartha nivritti, we do not have the capacity just by exercising our free will in the right way. At the max, we can only communicate our intention to Krishna, and he has to take care of it, is what I'm hearing. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yeah. What we can do is put the stick right next to us by trying to exercise our free will in the right way. This is our communication to Krishna. That Krishna, I wish to purify my heart to please you. If it is, if you so desire, you can please purify me.
Okay. So, Prabhu, I mean, just one last point, Prabhu, on this. So, whatever the situation that we face, however we think it's so significant, I think from what I'm hearing from today's discussion, it's very insignificant from Krishna's point of view.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Thank you.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Okay, it was nice today. It was the Association of Vaishnavas. Machchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. So I feel very grateful. I honestly wish to communicate that I feel genuinely grateful in the Association of Vaishnavas to be getting this opportunity to discuss Krishna Katha in your august presence. So thank you very much. We will meet again. For Bhagavad Gita, we will meet again next Friday, but otherwise we will be meeting every day for the morning chanting if you wish to join. If not, Monday to Friday we are doing Bhagavatam in the morning. Afternoon also we have discussions, evening also we have discussions. Whatever is convenient for you, whatever suits your interest, please do join. And in the Association of Vaishnavas, it is bhakti becomes so easy. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.